What it do, ninjas? This is Elizabeth.
And Katie.
And this is our project on Colombia.
Colombia's coast was discovered in 1499, and the Spanish occupied it for the next 300 years. In the early 1500s, the Spanish attempted to take control of the Caribbean and Pacific coasts. By the middle of the 16th century, the Spanish had gained control of much of the Americas. During this period, the indigenous groups in the Andes were forced into slavery so that the Spanish could take control of the riches of the land. The treatment of the slaves and the laws that the Spanish set for them fueled the group's desires for independence. In 1781, 20,000 Indians attempted a march on the capital known as the Comuneros Revolt. The revolt failed, and those that led it were executed. After several more attempts, the Colombian natives finally gained independence after the Battle of the Boyaga on August 9, 1810.
There are two major political parties in Colombia, conservative and liberal. Throughout their history, there have been many confrontations between the two parties. Two of the wars that resulted from the tension between the parties were the War of 1,000 Days, which claimed the lives of 100,000 people, and La Valencia, which claimed the lives of 300,000 people.
Their government is similar to ours in that they have an elected president, a bicameral legislature, and a judicial branch. Currently, their president is Juan Manuel Santos. However, presidents in Colombia may only serve for one 4-year term and may not be re-elected.
The Colombian economy is dependent on exports. They are the world's second leading coffee exporter. Other agricultural exports include bananas, cut flowers, emeralds, leather goods, and metal products.
Colombia is a very diverse country with a large range of groups and customs. There are 3 main groups of people: those that live in the interior, those that live in the countryside, and those that live in the coastal regions. However, the only time these groups come together as one is for elections, sports, and beauty pageants.
Colombia covers over 440,000 square miles and has a coastline in both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The capital of Colombia is Bogota, and Colombia neighbors Ecuador and Peru to the south, Brazil and Venezuela to the east, and Panama to the northwest.
Colombia has a population of 42.3 million people as of the year 2000, and 80% of those people live in the Andean region of the country, which is located near the coast of Venezuela. The population is mostly people of mixed descent, Europeans, Africans, and Indians. The literacy rate in Colombia is 97% in urban areas and 67% in rural areas.
The climate in Colombia is very stable. The dry and rainy seasons vary according to the regions. Generally, it rains during April, May, October, and November. Throughout Colombia, the weather ranges from tropical to desert-like to cold.
The flag was created by Francisco Miranda in 1806. He took the red and yellow of the Spanish flag and divided them with a strip of blue to symbolize the ocean separating the independent country from its mother. The yellow symbolizes the natural riches of the country, and the red symbolizes the bloodshed in the war for independence.
Colombian architecture reflects 17th century Spanish colonial origins with hints of Moorish and Castilian elements. Many areas of Colombia have a hard time maintaining the older structures. The climate plays a big part in the destruction of the Baroque-style buildings. Baroque style is known for its twisted columns, lack of straight lines, decorative details, its appearance of movement, towers, domes, optical illusions, and the abundance of windows incorporated into the structures.
Many of the most famous buildings in Colombia are the churches, like La Iglesia de las Lajas, Salt Cathedral of Zipaquirá, and the Catedral Basilica de Manizales. The churches are known for their medieval and Renaissance interiors. Many of the newer buildings in Colombia are very modern but utilize the Baroque style with hints of wood and wrought iron. Many of the government buildings were built in the Republicano style, which was created in the 19th century and incorporated elements of Greek, Roman, and Renaissance art.
In Colombia, single-level homes with pointed roofs are known as Republicano homes. In the crowded cities, homes usually have more than one story, and the architecture is more European style. There was a big migration in the 1950s, and high-density public housing became more common in Colombian cities. In poor areas of Colombia, large families live in small houses built out of cinder blocks and covered in adobe. In the capital Bogota, rent averages $600 per month, utilities average $200 per month, but all costs depend on the types and locations of housing.
Some of the main tourist attractions in Colombia are Bogota, the capital, the Amazon rainforest, Bolivar, Magdalena, Santander, the island of Providencia, San Andres, and Caldas.
Some of the notable monuments in Colombia include the Monument for Effort, a tribute to Antiguan colonization and the establishment of the city of Armenia, the Puente de Boyaca, which displays a feeling of independence for Colombia, and the Monumento a los Lanceros, which commemorates the soldiers who died in the Vargas Swamp Battle.
The main types of travel in Colombia are air, water, and bus. The mountainous terrain forces air transportation to become a main method of travel. For shipping purposes, the waterways are the most popular and easiest routes. Many of the roads in Colombia are plagued by landslides and washouts. However, they do have a bus system, and commercial and passenger vehicles are not unheard of. Travel by air is the quickest way because of the terrain, and a trip that takes 24 hours in a truck may only take half an hour on a plane. So if you plan to go to Colombia, be ready for a lot of airtime. Cost for transportation ranges anywhere from $60 per month to $150 per month, depending on how much you move around.
Most Colombian families eat meals that have hints of Spanish native traditions. Their meals are classified by their size rather than their makeup. Traditionally, they eat a light breakfast and a pretty good-sized lunch, and a small evening meal. Dinner normally is made up of fresh fruit, a soup of some sort that is homemade, and a main dish that includes meat or fish, rice, and potatoes. The meals conclude with a very sweet dessert, normally made from panela, which is a type of brown sugar. Like most countries, food varies in different regions. In the interior of Colombia, breakfast is normally a strip of pork, rice, and beans, sweet plantains, and a large steak with fried eggs. Dinner is the same minus the eggs. In the regions by the coast, their food's main focus is on the sea and is typically made of rice with coconut, fried plantains, and shrimp. During holidays, Colombians enjoy specialty dishes like ajiaco, which is a stew with 3 types of potato, chicken, and corn served with capers, cream, and avocado. Sancocho, which is a fish or chicken stew. Colombians drink large amounts of beer and coffee and hardly any milk or wine. The cost of food depends on if you make it yourself or if you go out to eat. If you stay at home and cook, the cost is around $150 per month. But if you go out, it could be as high as $450 per month.
Colombia is full of famous people, just like any other country. 3 of the most well-known are Fernando Botero, Shakira, and James. Botero is most known for his unique style and Colombian elements. He uses bright colors and generally paints obese individuals. He incorporates the Colombian national colors as well as the flag into most of his works. He portrays a lot of religious themes into his paintings. Other themes he paints are everyday life, nudity, and sexuality. Botero has also been known to sculpt in the same fashion as he paints.
Shakira is a well-known singer and dancer. She began her musical career at the age of 12. Her trademarks are that she performs most of her concerts barefoot while incorporating Arabian belly dancing into her performances. She is fluent in Portuguese, Italian, English, and of course Spanish. Some of her most famous songs are Hips Don't Lie, Waka Waka, La Tortura, and She-Wolf. Mattel has created several Barbie dolls that look like her. She claims John Lennon is her #1 musical influence. She was also cast as Mimi in the television production of Rent, but the rights were revoked because they wanted to make a movie out of it.
Juanes is the former lead singer of a Colombian rock band. He left and now tours as a solo act. He has 3 children, and Time magazine named him one of the most influential people of 2005. He has won 12 Latin Grammy Awards. Juanes established the Mi Sangre Foundation. Some of his most famous songs are Adios Le Digo, La Paga, featuring Black Eyed Peas, and Te Busque, featuring Nelly Furtado.
So we're not going to be arguing over what to put on the slide, okay?
Well, I really think that having Huzzah would be epic.
I don't.
What? Why? It's really Sparta 300 kind of feel.
What? No.
Sparta, like, we are Sparta!
How about not?